Welcome to Success Beyond Borders from Gulam, where every week we deep dive into interesting topics for people working in media and tech. Today, we're tackling a really fascinating and incredibly timely topic. It really cuts to the heart of how businesses actually achieve growth in this, well, rapidly evolving B2B landscape. We see it especially within the dynamic media and technology sectors, right?
Absolutely. Those sectors are just moving so fast.
So today we're diving deep into the unseen architects of revenue growth. And this deep dive, as you might already know if you follow us, draws its foundational insights from Ingulam itself. They're a company that, well, they really specialize in a wide array of services crucial for today's market leaders.
They cover a lot of ground.
They really do. When you look at their offerings, it's everything from high-level go-to-market strategy and positioning, right down to the granular stuff like pricing and monetization models.
Which are so critical now.
Oh, totally. And they handle sales and business development, make sure the sales infrastructure is robust, foster strong partners and channels, and critically, they lead the charge in revenue operations.
Right.
RevOps.
RevOps, yeah. Getting sales, marketing, customer success, all singing from the same hymn sheet. It's vital.
Exactly. Streamlining it all for unified growth. And beyond that, they orchestrate complex GTM transformation programs, and this is really cutting edge. They leverage AI-enabled GTM execution.
The AI piece is becoming huge.
For sure. And their clientele isn't just broad. It's focused right on the bleeding edge. Media and entertainment, high-tech SaaS and cloud, private equity investing heavily in TMT.
Technology, media, telecom.
Right. And the foundational telecom and networks providers, too. It's clear they're operating right at the nexus of modern business transformation, helping shape the future, really.
Well, what's truly fascinating here, and what the source material from Golem immediately highlights, is just how profoundly the business world itself is transforming. It's not, a static thing. It's this incredibly complex tapestry, constantly reweaving itself. New tech, geopolitical shifts, customer behaviors changing on a dime.
Relentless competition, too.
Oh, absolutely. Relentless. So for C-suite executives, especially in B2B SaaS, tech, media, navigating this landscape, it's not just challenging. It can feel less like a steady voyage with a map and more like, well, a bewildering journey through a thick fog that keeps shifting.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah, and the strategies, the old playbooks, the approaches that used to guarantee success, they seem to lead to stalemates now. Or worse.
Right? They just stop working.
Exactly. The traditional playbook for go-to-market transformation, it just seems increasingly obsolete. And it leaves a lot of leaders wondering, quite genuinely, why aren't our winning formulas winning anymore?
It's like the ground rules changed.
Yeah, it feels like that. A fundamental erosion of what they thought they knew, demanding a radical rethink of how they even approach growth.
Okay, that's a powerful image, this shifting landscape. Let's try and unpack this with a real-world example the source uses. It's fictionalized but highly relatable. Valiant Systems.
Oh, yes, Valiant.
Picture them as, a B2B SaaS titan serving media companies cutting-edge solutions. From the outside, they literally had everything going for them.
They really did. Textbook success story on the surface. Their main content management platform. It wasn't just good, it was industry lauded. Analysts loved it. Market leader setting the standard.
Top-tier stuff.
Absolutely. And their sales leadership. Wow. A roster of highly compensated veterans poached from Fortune 500s. Huge experience, great networks, track record of closing massive deals.
So the best people.
Seemingly, yes. Their market share in entertainment looked impenetrable. A fortress built on long relationships, product superiority. They commanded premium pricing, which showed the value they delivered, the ROI. They had these deep, established client relationships, the kind that usually mean loyalty, predictable revenue.
The holy grail, right, recurring revenue.
Exactly. And maybe most critically, their GTM strategy, meticulously crafted, had delivered double-digit revenue increases for 3 years straight.
3 years. Wow.
So, by all conventional metrics, Valiant Systems was a runaway success, a model company, seemingly immune to market ups and downs.
Okay, so despite all these clear indicators, great product, star team, market dominance, that consistent growth, something unsettling started happening.
The paradox kicks in.
Growth just stalled inexplicably, not a slowdown, a sudden halt.
Jarring.
Totally. New customer acquisition, especially in key areas like streaming services, production companies, it just dwindled, went from a steady stream to a trickle.
Which is worrying.
And even more alarming, churn. Among their most valuable media clients, the bedrock of their revenue, it started ticking upwards, slowly at first, but then gaining momentum.
Ouch, losing your best customers.
Exactly. This wasn't just a blip. It was a sustained trend defying all their past performance, all their forecasts. Like some invisible force was pushing back.
And this is where the real confusion, the internal friction, really started to bite. Their data, which used to be so clear, providing predictive power, it became this confusing, contradictory mess of metrics. Nothing added up anymore.
So the dashboard wasn't helping.
Not at all. The C-suite, understandably baffled. They were absolutely convinced they were doing everything right, following the playbook, executing the strategies that had worked flawlessly for years.
But the market wasn't playing ball.
Nope. The market simply wasn't responding.
Yeah.
So what do? The classic response. Poured investments into conventional solutions.
Throw money at the problem.
Pretty much. Expensive sales training programs, enhanced marketing campaigns targeting entertainment execs, premium booths at big industry conferences, trying to reignite interest.
Did it work?
The needle barely moved. Minimal return, if any, like throwing money into a black hole, really. And internally, this lack of progress fostered a really damaging dynamic. Teams that were once collaborative started pointing fingers.
The blame game.
Exactly. The source material calls it being trapped in a broken puzzle approach.
What does that mean exactly?
It means each department, trying to show individual progress, optimized its own metrics. In isolation, sales focused solely on hitting quotas, maybe using aggressive tactics.
Short-term thinking.
Right. Marketing chased lead numbers, regardless of quality, flooding sales with junk. Customer success focused on retention rates, but disconnected from the initial sales promise or evolving needs.
So everyone's hitting their little target, but the big picture suffers.
Precisely. The individual pieces might look okay on paper, but the overall GTM engine just sputtered. Lost momentum, lost cohesion.
That sounds incredibly frustrating.
Immense frustration, resentment, lack of shared accountability. And paradoxically, it led teams to retreat to the old, ineffective methods simply because they were familiar, even though they clearly weren't working anymore.
A vicious cycle, doing more of what failed because you don't know what else to do.
That's it exactly. They lacked a unified vision, a new playbook for the new reality.
Okay, so this brings us to the central kind of hidden question behind all this market disruption, this paradox. Why do companies like Valiant, with seemingly great products, big investments, sound strategies, why do they suddenly struggle to capture value today? Could it be, and this is the provocative part, that the very idea of a static in-house sales leader, someone applying the same strategies for years, or a GTM strategy built on yesterday's assumptions, could that be what's holding back the next wave of growth? Is the problem what they're doing and who's leading it?
That is truly the counterintuitive puzzle the source challenges us to confront. And the key to unlocking sustainable exponential market dominance now. It isn't found by simply doing more of the same.
Right. Hiring more salespeople, spending more on marketing.
Exactly. More of the same often just digs the hole deeper, creates more inertia, more cost. No, the breakthrough lies in radically reimagining who leads your sales and revenue transformation.
Okay.
And fundamentally rethinking how your entire go-to-market strategy is architected, managed, and crucially, how it's continuously evolved, recalibrated.
It's not static.
Absolutely not. It's about structuring for adaptability. Finding those unseen architects who can rebuild the engine while it's still running, so to speak.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting because it connects directly to how the buyers themselves have changed.
Yes, fundamentally.
The B2B market, as the source emphasizes, isn't just shifting slightly. It's undergoing a profound seismic transformation. It's not just about new tech. It's about how business buyers make decisions. The whole journey is different.
Precisely. The modern B2B buyer. Think CTOs at streaming platforms, procurement directors at media conglomerates.
No.
They now demand a kind of dual experience. It's almost contradictory.
How so?
Well, on one hand, they expect deep, nuanced technical expertise. They need to understand the solution, how it integrates, the real tech detail.
Sure, that makes sense for complex B2B.
But at the same time, they demand simplified, almost frictionless self-service interactions, like their consumer buying habits. Think Amazon, booking flights online. They want that ease, that efficiency, even for huge B2B deals.
Wow. Deep expertise and consumer simplicity. That's a tough ask.
It is. And these buyers are far more digitally sophisticated now. They do tons of independent research online before ever talking to sales.
They come armed with information.
Exactly. Peer reviews, analyst reports, social media, product comparisons they find themselves. This digital fluency means they're incredibly well informed. And critically, they make faster decisions, often with smaller, more agile committees.
Like bureaucracy.
Often, yeah,
Yeah.
because the information's out there, verifiable, it democratizes the decision a bit. And
Right.
maybe the biggest shift, their focus. It's moved beyond just comparing IT features, which used to dominate sales pitches.
So what do they focus on?
Measurable business outcomes. They're asking, how will this impact my bottom line, improve operational efficiency, strengthen my competitive position? They want to know the tangible ROI before they buy. Proof, not just promises.
Makes sense. They're accountable for results, too.
Absolutely. So this shift means the customer journey isn't linear anymore.
Mhm.
Not that old funnel. Awareness, consideration, purchase.
No.
No, the source calls it a modern serpentine path. Twists, turns, self-education, multi-channel engagement, from initial awareness through fragmented channel choices, all the way to demonstrating clear ROI months or years later. Your GTM strategy has to reflect that nonlinear reality.
If your GTM is a straight line, you're missing them.
You're missing most of the journey.
Okay, so despite these massive shifts in buyers and their journey, our research shows most organizations are still clinging to these inadequate traditional GTM models.
They are, and they're paying a heavy price.
Yeah. Our analysis across B2B SaaS, tech, media, it reveals several critical failure points holding them back. First, there's what we call the flexibility trap.
The flexibility trap.
Okay. Legacy GTM frameworks are just too rigid. They can't adapt fast enough to new market entrants, sudden shifts in buyer preferences, new competitors.
We're trying to turn a battleship on a dime.
Exactly. Think about TikTok disrupting media consumption. Companies with inflexible GTMs, they were flat-footed, struggled to pivot messaging, channels, content quickly enough, stuck in their old ways.
This huge opportunities.
Right. This trap isn't just being slow, it's inherent inertia, inability to reconfigure in real time.
Okay, that makes sense. What's next?
Compounding that, we see the data paradox. This is fascinating because companies have more data than ever, a flood of it, clicks, CRM interactions, social sentiment.
Right, data everywhere.
Yet, despite this wealth, many crucial GTM decisions are still based on gut feeling, anecdotal feedback, outdated research, not real-time, actionable insights from their own data.
So they have the data but don't use it effectively.
Or can't. It's like having a supercomputer but using an abacus for big decisions. Instead of using AI to see which features resonate with a specific vertical based on usage data, they might listen to one loud client, misallocating resources.
Yeah, I see that. The potential's there, but bridging the gap to action is hard. Lack of talent, tools maybe?
Could be. Or just organizational habit. And then there's the collaboration crisis, arguably one of the biggest bottlenecks.
Silos.
Exactly. A fundamental lack of cross-functional collaboration leads to siloed efforts, misaligned goals. Sales optimizes for deal closure, maybe burning bridges.
Marketing chases leads, any leads.
Right. Customer success focuses on retention and isolation. But rarely do they operate as a unified revenue engine, shared accountability for overall growth. Often missing.
Not rowing in the same direction.
Precisely. And the customer experience feels disjointed, confusing, undermines trust.
And the cost of all this misalignment. It's staggering, right? Our source material, it points to studies showing sales and marketing disconnects alone can cause revenue declines of, what, 10 to 20%?
10 to 20%, that's huge.
It is. Across the whole tech sector, these missed opportunities could cost hundreds of billions in unrealized potential. It's not a minor inefficiency. It's a massive drain on enterprise value.
Wow.
And then there's research, from leading business schools showing that a shocking 70%, 70, of GTM transformation initiatives actually falter.
70% fail. Why?
Primarily due to inadequate leadership alignment across the C-suite and deep-seated internal resistance. Resistance to new methods, new processes, new tech. It's like an organizational immune response to change.
People cling to what they know, even if it doesn't work.
Exactly. That inertia is often the silent killer of innovation and growth.
That is sobering. 70% failure rate. It really underscores the challenge. Yet, amidst these hurdles, there's this powerful tool emerging, maybe even revolutionizing GTM. Artificial intelligence. Is AI the magic bullet?
AI. It certainly has transformative potential. But maybe not a magic bullet on its own. It's a game changer because it enables things previously unimaginable.
Like what?
Well, real-time market analysis. Getting an immediate granular pulse on shifting sentiment, competitor moves, trends. Way beyond human analysis. Dynamic customer segmentation, targeting specific groups with hyper-tailored messages as their needs evolve, not static segments.
Oh, so much more precise.
Much more. Predictive modeling for deal probability, helping sales prioritize efforts based on data, not just gut feeling. Generating personalized content at scale, making every interaction feel relevant.
Game automated interactions like chatbots or virtual assistants that can handle routine stuff efficiently while ideally maintaining a human touch. And the results? Companies using AI-driven GTM report revenue improvements of 3 to 15%, sales ROI enhancing 10 to 20%.
Those are significant numbers, not just incremental.
Genuinely significant accelerations. But, and it's a big but, AI implementation is definitely a double-edged sword.
Okay, what are the hurdles? Well, significant internal challenges often derail things. Evaluating the ROI accurately. It's complex. Attributing gains solely to AI versus other initiatives needs sophisticated analytics. Many lack.
Right. The attribution problem.
Then there are substantial upfront costs. Licensing platforms, hiring data scientists, infrastructure. Integration challenges are huge too. Getting AI tools to talk to legacy CRM, marketing automation. Systems not built for it.
The plumbing is difficult.
Very. And ensuring scalability, can the AI model work across different markets, products, geographies as you grow? Many companies, unfortunately, try to force new AI insights into their old, rigid organizational frameworks.
Shoving a square peg into a round hole.
Exactly. Leads to frustration, resistance, and often prematurely abandoning potentially transformative initiatives. It's not just buying the tech, it's the organizational readiness and agility to truly embrace it.
Okay, this leads us perfectly to what the source calls the breakthrough. This counterintuitive idea that the biggest transformation isn't just what new tools you adopt, like AI, but who you empower to lead the transformation. And maybe more critically, how you architect the entire revenue system to be continuously adaptive. This is where the unseen architects come in.
That really is the core shift. It distinguishes the leaders from the laggards. The counterintuitive truth is that sustainable, explosive growth today, it's increasingly driven not by a permanent traditional sales executive, someone in a fixed role applying a fixed methodology.
Okay. So who is driving it?
It's driven by agile, data-driven revenue architects. Often these are fractional leaders or highly specialized external consultants. They have this unique blend: strategic acumen, deep operational expertise, and a data-first mindset.
Fractional leaders. So not full-time employees necessarily.
Not necessarily. Their value is their ability to continuously recalibrate the entire GTM engine, making real-time adjustments based on granular market feedback, not just an annual plan from months ago.
Like engineers tuning a race car mid-race?
That's a great analogy. Constantly fine-tuning, optimizing every component for peak performance. They spot bottlenecks, reallocate resources, pivot strategies based on what the data says now.
So this is a fundamental shift. From viewing sales leadership as a static org chart box you fill.
Right. Fill it and forget it.
To embracing it as a dynamic, continuously optimized function. Instead of just hiring a VP of sales and hoping they fix everything, forward-thinking companies adopt what the source calls a growth as a service mindset.
Growth as a service. Explain that a bit more.
It means strategic insight, tactical execution, leadership development. They aren't treated as fixed assets you acquire once. Instead, they're continuously injected, updated, optimized, like software getting constant updates.
Ah, okay. A continuous stream of expertise.
Exactly. Flowing into the organization, adapting instantly as the market changes, as new data emerges, as competitors shift. It's having a growth engine always being upgraded by specialized external intelligence. Peak performance without the long-term overhead.
And this growth as a service approach, it broadens the scope massively, doesn't it? It takes revenue generation from just being sales or marketing's job.
Right, a departmental responsibility.
And makes it an overarching organizational imperative. Every function, product development, customer success, finance, HR, is aligned around a measurable contribution to sustainable growth.
So product isn't just building features in a vacuum.
No, they're thinking, how does this feature drive revenue, improve customer lifetime value? Customer success isn't just retaining clients. They're identifying expansion opportunities, feeding churn insights back into the system.
HR is hiring for the right GTM skill.
Exactly. It's holistic, unified, breaking down silos, not just technologically, but culturally. Everyone understands their role in the revenue engine.
Okay, that's a compelling philosophical shift, but let's get practical. What does this unconventional go-to-market as a service approach actually translate into for a business? What are the measurable outcomes? Executives need to see results, right?
Absolutely right. It has to translate into tangible outcomes. The source material breaks it down into several key areas that really hit the bottom line and long-term health. First, you get agile strategy and execution. Success here comes from blending AI insights with sharp human strategy, creating a flexible, responsive approach that adapts in real time.
Not just the annual plan.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
It's constant iteration, rapid response. This fosters immediate revenue acceleration and builds a foundation for long-term profitability. That growth as a service model, often via specialized consulting, ensures continuous optimization.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Say real-time data shows a new competitor gaining traction in a niche. An unseen architect would quickly adjust messaging, reallocate marketing spend, equip sales with new talking points in days, not months, constantly tuning based on fresh feedback, competitive intel, turning data into action fast. Second, you achieve unified revenue operations RevOps, systematically breaking down those old silos between sales, marketing, customer success.
Creating that single source of truth.
Exactly. For all customer data and interactions, eliminating conflicts, redundancy, disjointed experiences, this promotes real cross-functional collaboration. Everyone aligned around consistent KPIs that matter for overall growth, like customer lifetime value, deal size, cycle efficiency.
Not just vanity metrics for each department.
Precisely. It's more than just shared tech. It's fostering a common culture focused on the entire customer journey and holistic growth. Marketing generates qualified leads, sales can convert. Customer success feeds insights back to product.
Makes perfect sense. Rowing in sync. But who's doing the rowing? Third, and this is crucial, the source highlights reimagined sales leadership and talent.
Yes, this is a big one.
The report is clear. Traditional account managers focus just on relationships and taking orders. Not enough anymore. So what does this new sales pro look like?
Well, success now demands what the source calls transformation-led sales professionals. These folks have deep solution knowledge, sure, but also profound industry expertise. They speak the client's language.
They get the client's business.
Yes. And they can consultatively guide prospects through complex buying decisions. They're not just selling. They're advising, diagnosing pain points, co-creating solutions for specific business outcomes.
Trusted advisors, not just vendors.
That's the goal, which means redefining seller talent profiles, developing new competencies around delivering measurable outcomes, not just features.
And this is where fractional sales leadership comes in strongly.
Absolutely. It can rapidly inject these new capabilities, offer immediate high-impact guidance to align sales, marketing, CS, without that long, costly search for a full-time exec.
What does that look like in practice?
The source calls it embedded leadership and coaching. They act as senior advisors, integrate directly with internal teams, guide execution, give real-time feedback, foster a culture of rapid experimentation.
So they bring in top-tier expertise quickly.
Exactly. Imagine an expert diagnosing why your sales cycle is too long, restructuring the process, training the team on consultative selling, integrating AI tools within months, not years. And without adding permanent senior headcount, it's strategic impact, right when needed. And the fourth outcome is customer centricity as a growth engine. Not just a buzzword, it's strategic, going beyond traditional boundaries.
How so?
Like integrating customer success insights directly into marketing strategy. That feedback loop ensures you market what customers actually value and will pay for. It gives you that 360-degree view of client perceptions.
Driving retention and expansion.
Precisely. Developing targeted strategies for long-term value. Investing in customer research, feedback mechanisms, predictive analytics lets you tailor products, services, experiences to address pain points proactively.
Before they become problems.
Right. This drives immediate sales, selling solutions to real problems, and builds deep loyalty. Turning customers into advocates and profitable recurring revenue. It's seeing the customer as the absolute center of your growth strategy.
That's a really comprehensive framework. So thinking about those principles, growth as a service, unified RevOps, fractional leadership, what stands out to you when applying them specifically to SaaS, tech, and particularly media and entertainment? These sectors have such unique dynamics.
Well, these transformation principles are arguably even more relevant for these sectors. Why? Because of the incredibly rapid shifts in consumption patterns, the diverse and fragmented audience preferences, the hyper-fragmented content landscape itself.
It's chaos out there sometimes.
It can feel like it. Consumers are spread across countless platforms, linear TV, TikTok, gaming, virtual worlds. Media companies especially must fundamentally reimagine audience engagement. reaching people across streaming, social, gaming, new interactive experiences.
The old broadcast model is dead.
Pretty much. It's not pushing content anymore. It's curating experiences across a complex ecosystem.
So given that, the customer value framework becomes absolutely critical for media execs. They can't generalize. They have to define what value means for different segments across different content types, different platforms.
Exactly. Segmenting not just by broad demographics, but by nuanced engagement, consumption habits, perceived value, emotional, functional.
It requires much deeper understanding.
Absolutely. Success needs incredibly granular market analysis, hyper-specific, persona-driven strategies tailored to specific behaviors, regional preferences, consumption patterns across devices.
Like what?
Well, what appeals to a young urban viewer on mobile short-form video in one country is totally different from a family watching long-form on a streaming service elsewhere, or a niche audience at an interactive fan event.
Got it. Tailoring is key.
And distribution channels must reflect local nuances too. Regional streaming services, broadcast partnerships, community events, it's hyper-personalization at scale, driven by data analytics, ensuring every piece of content, every ad, delivers maximum value, turning passive viewing into active engagement and loyalty.
It sounds like the era of rigid, departmentalized GTM strategies, especially for these sectors, is well and truly ending. Not slowly fading, but accelerating towards obsolescence.
That's a good way to put it.
The most successful businesses tomorrow, they won't just be the ones with the best products or the biggest traditional sales teams. It feels like a fundamental shift in what defines competitive advantage.
You've absolutely nailed the core insight. They will be the companies with the most adaptable, the most data-fluent revenue growth engines. Guided by continuous strategic insights, constantly learning, adjusting, powered by flexible, results-driven leadership.
So the advantage lies in embracing growth as a service.
Exactly. That's where expert guidance and fractional leadership act as catalysts. They transform market volatility, which scares many from a threat, into an unparalleled opportunity.
An opportunity for what?
For accelerated revenue growth, enhanced customer lifetime value, and ultimately significantly boosted enterprise value. It's about leveraging that specialized expertise to continuously optimize your internal capabilities. Staying ahead of the curve, always evolving, ready to capture the next opportunity, building a future-proof revenue machine.
So the fundamental question for every C-suite executive listening today, thinking about all this, the stalled growth paradox, AI's role, growth as a service, it really becomes, are you just managing your current operations, kind of hoping past success carries you through today's turbulence? Or are you actively architecting your organization's next era of sustainable, explosive growth, proactively shaping its destiny?
That's the choice.
Because the leadership models, the innovative methods, the strategic frameworks for this transformation, they aren't just theory. They're available right now, waiting to be activated. The only question left is, will you choose to be the architect of your revenue future, taking those decisive steps to build that adaptive, data-driven engine? Or will you remain a passenger, passively hoping traditional approaches somehow deliver extraordinary results in what is, let's face it, an extraordinary and constantly changing market?
It's a choice that will define the future.
It really will. And that was our deep dive into the unseen architects of revenue growth. A huge thank you for guiding us through these complex ideas and connecting all those crucial dots for us today.
My pleasure. It's a critical topic.
We truly hope this deep dive gave you, our listeners, some serious food for thought on how to unlock your organization's next wave of revenue and maybe rethink your approach to growth. If you found this discussion insightful, and we hope you did, be sure to like and subscribe to The Deep Dive or Success Beyond Borders for more explorations into what truly matters in the business world. Until next time, keep digging for those insights.